Welcome to Lawyers Without Billboards, where we break down family law and other areas of the law. No gimmicks, no legal jargon, just real, unfiltered talk from real lawyers. Join your hosts, Steve, Patty, Jimmy, and Alexa, partners at Shewmaker Lewis, a law firm based in Atlanta, Georgia. Every episode, they tackle the legal questions that matter most: divorce, custody, child support, alimony, and everything in between. They'll pull back the curtain to give you real insights on what happens inside the courtroom and beyond.
Hello, everybody. Steve Shewmaker here. I'm here with my partners, Alexa and Jimmy Lewis, and we are Shewmaker Lewis, Lawyers Without Billboards. And Alexa, this is a special, special day. Take it away.
I think you mean Jimmy. Take it away.
Jimmy. Yeah, today.
It's Jimmy's turn. I know, it's crazy.
Before you do this, are you feeling like a Stanley mug or a Yeti mug today?
Yeti mug. Totally.
What about you, Alexa? Are you an ET or a Predator alien?
Neither.
You don't know which one you feel like today?
I don't want to pick either one of those.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, take it away.
You're not going to ask the judge?
We would go Predator anyway.
Would we go Predator?
Okay.
Anyway, today we are hosting Judge Kimberly Childs of Superior Court of Cobb County.
All right.
Judge, welcome.
Hi. Is this close enough? No, you're good. Yeah,
you're good.
It's really just don't. Okay,
don't lean away.
If you just can't hear you. It's kind of like the Greg Poole. Exactly. It's kind of like when we're in court and you can't hear us, they can't hear you. Right.
Yeah. No, Judge, we really appreciate you joining us and putting us in that blank space on your calendar.
Thank you.
And now,
I love that Taylor Swift reference already.
Just wait. There's more.
No, really, from the outset, I have to let you know, Steve is going to say some weird stuff during this podcast.
Solid chance.
So when he does, shake it off.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit of background, where you were a child from.
So, all the way back to birth. I was born in Ohio, which I didn't live there very long, like on this little town on Lake Erie. And then my parents were missionaries, and they got an assignment in Appalachia, Kentucky. So we moved to this place called Jacks Creek, Kentucky. And my dad was the principal and taught grades 8 through 12, and my mom worked at a hospital there. And that's where I went to kindergarten. And they needed an extra kid to get grant funding for their kindergarten program. So I got to start kindergarten at 4.
Cool.
And then after a while, we moved to Georgia, and I grew up in Habersham County.
So not an Ohio State or a Kentucky fan.
No.
Good answer.
Good
answer.
Can you still speak Kentuckanese?
No, I can't. But we did drive through there one time, my husband and I was kind of shocked. It really is. It's coal mining, mountain world. It was very interesting to see. There was a lot of poverty.
Now let's talk about education. You went to North Georgia, right?
I did. I actually went to North Georgia College to get an MRS degree. So I chased a boy there. We went to high school together. There was only one high school in our hometown, Habersham Central. So I had this crush on him. He didn't quite yet know that I was the one. So he got the Georgia Military Scholarship and went to North Georgia College. And I followed him there, chased him there. And that's why I picked North Georgia College. And it was a great
Did you end up marrying him?
I did.
Okay.
I did. 29 years this past August.
Wow, congratulations.
I caught him.
And did he serve in the military?
He did. He was in the National Guard after he graduated. Well, while he was actually in college, he was enlisted in the National Guard, commissioned in the National Guard, and then they couldn't find a second lieutenant spot for his MOS. So he did went back. He's commissioned Signal Corps, and then went back to the infantry, did that for a while. And then when he went to law school, he did a branch transfer to the Army Reserves to get a JAG unit.
Very cool.
So his drill was a little less intense.
Did he end up retiring?
No, he did not. After 2 years on active duty, I may have said, we're either all in or we're all out. This isn't working for me, because when you're in the reserves and you get active duty, you leave and you leave your spouse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have some experience. We have some experience with that, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't make it all the way to the 20 years. But lots of friends from North Georgia College.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what year did y'all graduate from here?
We graduated in 1994.
94. Okay. I was going to ask you if you knew some friends of mine up there, but I think they were a few years before that time. Okay. So that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, North Georgia College, beautiful, Dahlonega, loved it, absolutely. and I was a criminal justice major. I was almost an education major, but I went to my first like education group meeting, and they were talking about bulletin boards and whether to use corrugated or flat borders.
Always corrugated.
Oh boy.
And I was like, nah, peace out.
No.
I'm not going to be an education major. And the criminal justice classes were really interesting.
They're probably a little more fun.
They were very, very interesting, very fun. And I was not a good student. So I did not make good grades. I didn't do very well. I like to think I bloomed a little later in my education career. So when I graduated, I could not score high enough on the little test to get a job as a probation officer or as a social worker in the state of Georgia. So I had gone on a tour of the DeKalb County Jail when it was being built, the big one over on Memorial Drive, and they were handing out applications, and I took one, and they gave me a job. So I commuted from Habersham County to DeKalb for about 2 months until I got up enough money to get an apartment, and that was my first job.
Oh, wow.
So you worked as a
guard
at the jail.
At the jail.
Wow.
It's very interesting.
It's interesting to learn that about you because I did not know that about you. Okay, cool.
I learned a lot about people, I think. You definitely don't make promises that you can't fulfill when you work in jail.
Yeah.
I worked during Freaknik.
Yeah.
Yep. So I worked at the jail during Freaknik. That was a fun time. And I learned a lot about people. And then one time, the law librarian in the law library at the jail had to have surgery, and they were like, hey, you're a girl, you're an officer, and you have a college degree, so you can go be the law librarian, and you can be the security officer all in one, and we don't have to hire somebody to replace this woman for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So I did that, and I met all these jailhouse lawyers, and I kind of thought, if they can do it, I can do it.
You can do it better.
That's pretty awesome.
So I went to paralegal school.
Very cool.
So how long were you a paralegal?
When I was paralegal from 90, maybe 3 years, and I worked for a fellow, Fred Boulogne, over at the Galleria. He likes to say he hired me out of the jail, and it was cool. We did title insurance litigation, real estate litigation, and he let me do all kinds of really cool stuff. I prepped him for depositions. I got to second chair a couple of jury trials with him. And he really encouraged me to go to law school, which is how I ended up going to law school at night.
Where'd you go to law school?
I went to Georgia State.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. That's enough. Hey, Alexa went to Georgia State. I went to Georgia State.
Patty went to Georgia State.
Patty did it at night. That's right. Nighttime, just like that. It's
great school.
Now, you said that you weren't a very good student undergrad, but you were in law school.
I was in law school. I like to think I peaked then.
What year did you start law school? What year did you start?
I started in 1998, and I graduated in 2002.
Okay, so you graduated in 2002, so that means you and I overlapped, but you wouldn't. Neither one of us would have known it because I started in 2001, and I did 2001, 2002 is my first year. But first year law students don't really have any interaction with upperclassmen because you can't really see 3 feet beyond your face the first year, so we would not have known each other.
The only way you would have known me probably is I did Professor Bross's property tutorials after my first year when I took him, and he taught the night property classes.
I had Sir Patrick Wiseman.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Many funny stories about that. I remain a fan of Sir Patrick Wiseman, but so we actually would have passed each other in the halls, and I didn't know it about that.
But we were at the Urban Life building.
Yeah.
I know. We were in the ghetto. Yes, I know.
So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a totally different experience now.
So
Oh my gosh, going to that school now, it's like, you guys.
Well, Patty's way older than you, so of course she'd have been there too. Now, wait a second.
wouldn't say that.
What did you do in law school? Were you were knight, so you probably didn't do the whole law review, move court.
I did law review.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did do law review, and I got like my peach sheets were published, but nothing else. But my last year, I was the assistant managing editor, which is the person responsible for the schedule.
Right.
And to my knowledge, we're the only class that got out 4 books in one school year.
Wow.
We got 4 books published in one school year. And I was so proud of that. Like, I thought I was amazing. And a few years later, I was talking to some of my classmates, and I was like, yeah, we were rock stars. And my friend Stephanie was like, everybody hated you, right? And I said, no, they didn't. She was like, yes, we did. We all hated you. But we got it done. I like to think logistics is a little bit of a strength of mine.
Yes, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. So that's pretty cool. So what'd you do when you got out of law school?
I worked at it's called Hunton and Williams. I think it's a different name now. I did intellectual property litigation, class action defense, and just kind of business commercial litigation. I worked with some really, really cool people there. Liked it a lot. I think they taught me a lot of really good habits that I think have benefited me well in my career. And I got to do really, really cool stuff there. And then I left there with some folks and went over to a kind of litigation boutique, Wario French, and was with them until I hung out my own shingle in 2008.
That's awesome.
That's what I did. All business and commercial litigation. Not a lick of family law.
Or criminal defense.
Or criminal defense.
So that was a little new when you got on the bench.
It was all new. And I appreciated all the lawyers who kind of were very patient with me and who helped me learn that I needed to read McConaughey's and I needed to go to the Family Law Institute and I needed to pay attention when you guys were like, well, you probably already know this, Judge. I'm sure you already know, Judge.
Well, what is the
to pick up.
What year did you take the position on the bench?
So in 2016 was my election in May. And so I took the bench January of 2017. However, Steve Schuster, Judge Schuster, was the chief judge when I won the election. And I knew him through the Cobb bar. And he was like, Kim, you don't know anything about anything. So we're going to have, at the time, Chief Magistrate Judge Joyette Holmes made me a associate magistrate judge. And they gave me assisting superior court powers and said, go do some TPOs, go do some probable cause bond hearings, and you need to practice. I shut down my practice about July after winning the election and just watched a whole lot of court.
So you win the election, and then how many months before you assume the job?
The election was late May, and I took office January 1st.
So basically, what they did is they said you need to go do this magistrate.
Go
work.
train.
Yeah, you need to train. You know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Figure it out. I was thrilled.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
My husband wasn't thrilled because he was like, "Why are you disappearing for 40 hours a week and there's no paycheck?" And I was like, "Oh yeah."
Sorry.
Public service.
I know, right?
It's an investment in the future. Yeah.
And it was really, really awesome because I got to see now as a judge now, I don't get to see how other judges do things.
Sure.
And I was able to pick and choose things that I liked that different judges did.
Now, did you always want to be a judge, or was it just in your wildest dreams?
I mean, my wildest dream was to be a guard at the DeKalb jail. Like that was like, I don't know that I had aspirations like that. It took me a long time to become a lawyer, and I don't know that I had the confidence or I didn't think I could ever be like a lawyer. And so being a judge was never on my radar. And in 2015, I was approached I had my own firm. I was really involved with the Cobb bar. I was approached by a couple of women lawyers in Cobb, and they were like, we think that there's 3, maybe 4 women judges in Cobb that are about to announce their retirement. And we think you should run for the Superior Court seat. And I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't want to be a judge. I'm fine. And then they asked me a couple more times. And on the third time they asked, I thought, I do complain about some things that judges do. And my practice was primarily in Superior Court because of equity. Everyone thought I would have practiced in state court because business litigation just sounds like money, but there's actually a lot of equitable relief in business cases. So I was in Superior Court a lot, and there were a lot of things that frustrated me, like, not being able to get through to a judge's office, not being able to get a response, having an emergency at 4:00 on the Friday before a 3-day weekend and not being able to reach anyone, just those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe I can do this. And so I ran.
So how was that election process for you?
So campaigning is basically networking for a different kind of, not for referrals.
Right.
And I had to network a lot like you guys do, to get business. I was not a billboard lawyer either. So you network to go to lunch with a lot of people, and it's just networking with people in the community.
That's how we know you're not a billboard lawyer, because you're sitting here with us now.
There we go. But it was great. You got to meet people, you got to hear their stories, you got to talk to people. If you don't like people, that's not a good thing to have to do.
If you're introverted and whatnot, it's difficult to do, for sure.
It would be very difficult. I had friends come out of the woodwork that had never been involved in campaigns before and just really helped me. I never touched a sign, and we had Cobb County nicely covered with my signs, but just friends and neighbors and folks that I knew, they were like, we want to help. I'm like, okay,
Great.
here
Sounds
you go.
awesome.
It was very grassroots. And I did hire a consultant to help, which was really, really cool. Kind of helped me understand the logistics of elections.
Well, I think that's cool because, I think the general rule is I'm going to wait till the governor appoints me.
I never would have gotten an appointment.
Well, I'm not, I don't know either way, but what I know is cool is you're like, no, I'm not going to wait for the governor to appoint me. I'm going to go get it. That's cool.
And it's, it's really, it's very empowering to have gone through it. It was a three-way race. I did not have a runoff. I won straight out, which was unusual.
Who were you running against?
I ran it. Really, really great guys, by the way. Grady Moore, a criminal defense lawyer, and Chuck Bachman is a commercial litigator at Gregory Doyle.
Yeah.
And they're really great guys. We had a very, very respectful campaign. That whole season was very respectful. There were a lot of judicial candidates in Cobb County. And afterwards, we had a winner's pay party.
That's cool.
Which was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
All the candidates together because it was before COVID. So we were all together all the time. No one cares about judicial elections. So we would go to these like town halls and everyone wanted to talk to the commissioners and we would just stand outside and wait for them to be done with their debate or whatever. And then we would just push our cards on people as they came out.
No, so you've won 2 elections since then, right?
It did, but no opposition. So that's the best way. But I'm not afraid of opposition. Sure. And if it happens, then I'll work really hard. And if I don't win, then I'm meant to do something else. That's kind of my perspective on it.
We got space here.
There you go. I kind of think that everything in my life has happened for a reason. And when I think about family law, my parents had foster children. We had foster brothers and sisters. I have friends with probably every family dynamic that you can think of. I think I've had close friends or family with kind of those different types of situations with their families. So I do appreciate how different the family is for different people. And I think that has helped me a lot on the bench.
Keep an open mind.
And I saw a lot in the jail.
Yeah.
So
I bet.
I saw a lot and smelled a lot.
That's not something I want to think about.
Yeah. So, I think all of that led me to kind of where I am today. And if the next step is someplace different, then that's what'll happen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, you said you came from business litigation. How many of those cases do you see on the bench now?
So about 40% domestic relations, 40% felonies, and 20% everything else. Everything land, we have exclusive jurisdiction over equity, land. We get magistrate court appeals, and of course we get business and commercial litigation. Every now and then, I get a traditional tort case, car wreck case, or product liability case, but that's the exception. I have been reversed more on what I used to do than anything else, which is, if you would have asked me that, I would have not expected it. But the reason is your trial court judges do not have the time to really dive into the complexities of those types of cases, I think. I do my best, but they're very complicated and the law is all over the place. So between my staff attorney and I, we do our best. I wish I had more time. And when I talk to business litigators, I tell them your Superior Court judges do not have as much time as you think they do. When I wrote summary judgment briefs as a lawyer, I really thought the judge was sitting there reading the deposition transcripts of all the different witnesses. And that is not the case. Maybe some judges do, but
That's one of my most fascinating, or one of my most favorite things, because you and I are from the same era. I can vividly remember Professor Wendy Hensel. Did you have Hensel?
I did not have Hensel.
Wendy Hensel say, you will not bold print. You will not underline print. You will not use the word clearly. If your writing is good, you don't need that. What that educate. And Wendy Hessel's a great lady. She now runs the University of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Well, she went from here to New York and now to out in Hawaii.
Yeah, great lady. I consider her a good friend, but I fundamentally disagree with her because she never practiced domestic and criminal law like we do. And I was like, no, you need to put it in front of these judges because they don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, highlight, bold, underline, all the things.
I would think the appellate court judges, that's a different audience for you. But with me, your first audience on that stuff is my staff attorney. And then it's me. And once she summarizes it for me and gives me bullet points, sometimes drafts a proposed order. And those are the cases that take me longer to get orders out to.
Right. Well, I know it's Jimmy's outline, but I do have to ask, I'm going to interject. What do you enjoy more, criminal or domestic?
Oh, I was going to ask that too.
So I really love the variety. I really, really love the variety. By the time my professional ADD is kicking in on some topic, I've got something else. My schedule right now is Monday, Tuesday, criminal, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, civil and domestic. Some judges will do a full week of criminal, full week of domestic. I have a few full weeks of civil and domestic, but not a lot. But I really like the variety, and it's different. The lawyers are different. The way you represent your client is different, and it's. I think it's neat. I love being a generalist, and I love being in the trial court, and I love having a sense of community among the lawyers. I really like lawyers. One of my struggles is swearing in new lawyers because I get so emotional. Conley Ingram swore me in as a new lawyer. And I mean, I remember that day and I was very emotional when I became a lawyer. And so I all that comes back to me when I swear in new lawyers.
Yeah, Judge Floor and I swore me in.
Yeah, we all remember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I liked about, just real quick, I don't know if you guys still do this, but what I loved about Cobb was when I got sworn in, all of the judges signed.
We do. We still do it.
I love that.
We still do it.
I love that. So mine is signed by everybody who was on the bench in 2012, which is fantastic.
We still do that to this day.
That's awesome.
What keeps you up at night as a judge?
Probably domestic cases. I mean, I've really evolved, I think, a little bit as a judge with how I approach it. I think in the beginning of my time on the bench, I sometimes wanted to fix problems a little too much. And I would sometimes let cases go on to try to, instead of having a final and giving closure to that particular chapter, I would try to fix relationships between parents and children, and that's not my job. And so trying to figure that out and hoping not to make the situation worse.
When you say sometimes there's just too much bad blood?
Yeah, sometimes there's a lot. I mean, if it gets to me, it's a lot of bad blood. It's you. And if it gets to me, it's very high conflict.
He rehearsed this with me beforehand. He's got many references for you. Don't worry.
I think you might have the life of a showgirl coming up.
Are these all Taylor Swift references? Because I'm not getting them.
No, we know.
I had to look up a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Do you like football?
No, he doesn't.
Not so much.
We could
should watch their podcast with the Kelsey brothers. It was really fascinating.
I'll check it out.
So here, I'll go ahead and drop in another one. You mentioned your staff attorney a minute ago. So when you were interviewing, and for our listeners, what's your name?
My name is Kim Childs.
What is your staff attorney's name?
It's also Kim Childs.
It's very frustrating.
When you
it's
were
awesome emailing you guys.
At resumes and hers came across your desk, did you just think, you belong with me?
Yes, I did. That's fantastic.
You got that one.
I hate podcasts. I have no idea. So wait a second.
He says it every episode. Just ignore
She
him.
has to be the most respected staff attorney of all.
I think so.
Just because sometimes you're not exactly sure which one you're emailing.
Exactly.
Got to be very formal.
I'm surprised when people put in emails to her. And she is so kind, and she is so sweet, and she is so attentive, and sometimes too responsive. And I'm like, you know what? You can just let that one sit for a minute.
Just ignore that guy.
Yeah.
Numerous times where I'm like, wow, that was fast.
Yeah. No, she's on top of it.
Both her and my assistant, Anna Foster, and our calendar coordinator, Tammy, they've all bought into the kind of customer service type philosophy that I was annoyed with before I became a judge. I'm like, give them a response. Let them know that you got their email. And if you can't give them an answer right away, tell them when you think you could get them an answer. Because just being ghosted is no fun as a lawyer.
That's 100% true. And dealing with your staff is awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it really is. Give them all the praise because they are really on top of their stuff.
And they care. They care a lot, and they care about making sure that everybody is getting what they need to have a chance to be heard.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about when you were presiding judge for the drug treatment court?
Yeah, sure. That was really, really cool. We started off as a bit of a court in crisis. There were a lot of problems. It had undergone some challenges. And then we hired this woman, Portia Middlebrook, and she has done a fantastic job, and I got to preside over it. We worked with people who were high risk, high need, meaning high risk to reoffend as felons, and high need with their substance use disorder, meaning this isn't recreational drug use. This isn't a one-time thing. Our participants had destroyed all of their family relationships. They could not hold jobs. They were obviously involved with the criminal justice system in a very serious way. Some of them had been to prison before, and many of them had tried some form of rehab before, and it wasn't successful. So it is a very intense program. It works, and I'm super proud of the fact that before I stepped down as presiding judge, it was recognized as one of the All Rise, which is the National Drug Court Society throughout the country, one of their mentor courts.
That's awesome.
And, there's only 10 in the country, and there are tens of thousands of drug courts in the country. It's the only one ever in Georgia to be recognized.
Wow.
So
I actually had a client years ago who had gone through drug court in Cobb County, and he had all good things to say, and actually he turned his life around completely and ended up with custody of his child at the end of the legitimation case.
I hear as a why custody of children is a lot, as a why I want a relationship back with my children. It was very fulfilling. It was a lot of work, but it was very fulfilling. And Judge Marbitt's doing a great job with it now.
Marbitt's a cool dude.
Yeah, he is a cool dude.
So is it on one of y'all's list to ask her what are her pet peeves about what lawyers do in court?
Literally the next section that we're about to roll into is what should attorneys coming into Judge Child's courtroom, what should we know coming in? And a couple down from that is pet peeves.
So I struggle with this one because I think in the beginning, during my first term, I probably would have said, be prepared, get to the point, and tell me what you really want and tell me why I should give it to you, right? As I've stayed on the bench a little bit longer, I realized that there's more to it than that. It's not just about the efficiency of the courtroom process. It's important that your clients feel like they've been heard and that your clients feel like their lawyers did a good job. And absent those two things, afterwards, if the result is not what they'd hoped for or what they wanted, I didn't get heard or my lawyer didn't do the things I wanted them to do, are probably some of your big complaints, I would expect. And I've been the lawyer with the client who was paying me in 6-minute increments who did not get the result that they wanted. And I know how hard those conversations are. So now I would just tell you, do what you feel like you need to make sure that your client is heard and that they that their position was advocated zealously. So does that mean you make ridiculous arguments sometimes? Yes. It's helpful if you be like, Judge, my client really wants you to know that, which is a little bit of a, hey, this one seems a little out there, but please let us have an opportunity to say it. So I'm not holding people as much to their time announcements. My multi-position calendars are a little different, but if you're special set, I will probably just, if we don't get through it, we'll bring you back another time.
Reminds me of the day I was in the well of a Cobb County court with Judge, English accent.
Grubbs.
Grubbs, thank you, Judge Grubbs.
I adore Judge Grubbs.
And I was whooping and hollering and pointing at Kenny, the opposing party, and I said, Kenny the liar, Kenny the abuser. And I was pointing at it. And Judge Grubbs goes, Mr. Shewmaker, there's no jury here. It's just me. But I was putting on that show.
You have to sometimes.
For that particular time.
Yeah.
It's for the client.
Yeah.
And, now, I would tell you, know your judge.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that that's a universally accepted.
It's not.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
And I don't know, it has evolved with me. I wasn't there in my first
And you
term.
might not be there in 10 years.
We'll see.
That's
maybe
true.
Maybe over it by that point.
Yeah.
But it's big of you to
feel now.
It's big of you to say that now. I appreciate that.
Well, and we do also appreciate the fact that you have had clients. You have been in our position before where you understand that sometimes you're going to say things or you're going to advocate for something that you totally don't believe in, but you have to do it for your client. And to say that you're really going to let us try our case is really important because, you know, at the end of the day, if our client doesn't get what they want, at least they're going to feel like, well, you put everything out there.
And I credit Judge Greg Poole with helping mentor me through that philosophy because he said, you know, efficiency is great and we need to be efficient, but folks need to feel like they've been heard. And I took it to heart.
Yeah, because this is potentially their only opportunity to get in front of you.
Right. And for a lot of people, I mean, the trial court, this is their exposure to the justice system. I just heard Justice Ben Land talk, and he said for most people, that's where justice ends as well, because most cases are not appealed.
Sure.
So the result at the trial court level is the result.
Right. And it's, I know you answered that question from a perspective of us, but going back to you as a judge, I really think that the judges who will take the time without blowing up and getting angry and explaining things, they may be explaining something to a party who's about to not get what they want, but there's a way to do it. And you know what? Those people vote.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, it's, you know, you're always selling something, whoever you are. Yeah.
I don't rule from the bench as much as I used to.
Is that right?
And I credit a lawyer for telling me, you know, it's a little easier. And I really do appreciate the lawyers who have afterwards been able to give me some constructive criticism because we're people and we're all trying, I like to think we're all trying to do the best thing for our system. And she told me, she's like, you know, it's really a lot easier for me to give a bad result to my client in my office than for them to hear it in the courtroom with the soon-to-be former spouse that they absolutely despise. And if it gets to me, it's super high conflict, so they don't like each other. Otherwise, you guys would have settled it at mediation. Sure, it would have been worked out. Everything that I see is super high conflict. So I might know what I'm going to do, but I don't always rule from the bench anymore.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, sometimes I think it's better depending on the client. And then, of course, you won't know this as the judge on which client is going to take it better from hearing it from you versus reading it on paper and getting that bad news in the office. I tend to prefer getting it from the judge right then, only because it gives the client finality that day. But obviously, if it's complicated, if it's super high conflict, I totally understand why it might take.
And that's a good perspective for me to have. That's why I like to get that feedback.
If you asked me very quickly which way, I'd say I like finality. And it's becoming rarer and rarer for the judge to say, okay, I've heard all the evidence. Here's what I'm going to do. Right. And we start writing it down. I love walking out of court knowing. And here's why. I had just had a case up in Hall County against Kelly Miles.
A couple days ago.
A couple days ago. It was a full day. And very good judge. And she says, I normally rule from the bench. I'm going to have this out in 2 to 3 days. Great. I hold her at her word. I hope we get it in 2 to 3 days. The reason I say this is because what I don't like is, okay, I'm going to take it under advisement, and 2, 3, 4 months later, I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Nobody takes that well. That's the problem.
That is very true. If anybody who tries a case in front of me, you will often see me typing there. I'm not sending rando emails. I'm making notes. I might be writing the order,
right?
And working on it. And for your super high asset cases, I have my own marital balance sheet, and I'm often moving numbers around, changing percentages. Oh, that's a really good point. Nope, let's drop that down to 40%. Oh, now that one's down to 30% now. That's a good point too. Back up to 60. You know, so I'm always kind of changing things, but that I do try to get them out quickly.
It's too bad we can't put that up on the screen while they're testifying.
Right. Exactly.
It's like an applause meter. Yeah, like the applause meter.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that percentage. Oh, let's watch this trend.
I think you know.
We do. They do.
Well, here on the marital balance sheet side of things, do you like when lawyers come in with spreadsheets with summaries like that, so it can very easily put all of those things in one spot for you to look at?
I like that a lot. I like the DERFA to come in pretty quick. If you want to know something that I dislike, once the DERF is in evidence, I don't need your client to read it.
Sure.
Unless there's a real purpose to that. You're trying to draw my attention to something on cross maybe, but Once it's in evidence, I can look at it, I can read it. I don't need to, okay, how much do you pay for cable every month?
I'm so glad you said that, because I had Judge Dean last week up in Hall County, who's a juvenile judge. She stepped up for Judge Oliver, and sure enough, the other parties up there reading line after line of their financial affidavit. I'm like, Judge, it's been admitted. We didn't object to it. We announced that we were going to be done today. It's 3:00. The judge is like, yeah, you don't need to read this to me. So thank you for saying it.
And if you're giving a copy to your client, having a copy for me is helpful. Otherwise, I'm sitting there going like, okay, in just a minute, maybe I'll get to see what that document says.
And that's where I commit aggravated assault.
Yeah.
In my office. I want to choke millennial associates. I'm like, no, it's still an 18th century court. I need 5 copies of this. They're like, well, it's 50 pages.
Doesn't matter. Make the copies.
Yes. Give me the copies.
Make the copies.
I like an exhibit binder, not gonna lie.
That was the next question. There we go.
I was a binder lawyer though, and I was a binder paralegal. So I like binders. I like things organized. Not going to look at it until it's admitted, but I do like that. That's helpful. If you have one at the witness desk, one for opposing counsel, one at the witness stand, one for opposing counsel, one for yourself, and one for me.
And if the evidence is really damning against the other side, I'll bring an extra one for the bailiff. I have done this.
That's like my jury trial.
They appreciate it.
Yeah. No, this is very helpful.
Yeah.
You say this.
I do like things organized. I like an opening statement to have like an overview, and I don't even mind a little handout, a demonstrative of here's what we want, Judge, and then during the trial I'll hear the why. On the flip side, I recently had a lawyer indicate that that's not appropriate in an opening, that it should just be, you don't argue what you want in an opening.
No, but you state what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. But I like to see that.
Then what do you say in the opening?
The evidence is going to show.
Oh. Say that 14
the
times.
defendant's under the SACO says.
And I haven't done a divorce jury trial. Maybe it's coming, but I have not done one.
I have not done one. I did a contempt jury trial about 3 weeks ago, which was bizarre.
I've done 2 civil jury trials in almost 9 years.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
But you've got a full load of criminal jury trials.
Do a lot of criminal.
Well, that's because people in Cobb County aren't throwing jury demands out there, apparently, in their divorces. Good for them.
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't know if it's on either of your outlines. If I have a divorce case in your courtroom, I'm not saying I would do this, and I throw out a jury demand, and you may not want to answer this because it is a constitutional right to in Georgia to request a jury for your divorce. Are you going to look at that and go, Steve Shewmaker's trying to delay his case. He's trying to keep a temporary order in place longer. He doesn't want to go to court, or it's legit?
I'm going to look at it and be like, when can I fit this in? How can I do it and have them not back up a criminal trial? Because there's nothing worse than having to do a jury trial and being back up, because you got to prepare, right? And then if you don't get called, you got to prepare again.
Yeah.
Cost the client more money.
Yep.
And I was there as a lawyer, and I really, it's hard. It's hard to explain to the client why it costs so much more money. And I just try to figure out when to fit you in. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not,
Well, we were talking in a previous episode today about attorneys who would get a temporary order that they like and then request a jury demand, knowing it's going to take 2 years.
It's going to take years to get to trial.
it takes years for anything to get to trial from the time you file your jury.
Sometimes.
Exactly.
I don't think that's unique, at least in our circuit. That's not unique to divorce cases.
Sure.
That's a good point. That's a good point, yeah.
I have a criminal case set for October that I think is a 2020 indictment. So it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could take a while sometimes.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Now, we are running a little low on time, so we're gonna run through a few things real quick. Does Cobb County have a pants closet like Paulding County does?
So I watched part of Judge Lyle's podcast, but I don't. I mean, I couldn't. We don't have I don't care what you wear to court. I don't care what you wear to court. Maybe other judges care, and we actually did a survey in the Women of the Bar section did a survey of all the judges in Cobb and all classes of court about lawyer attire and what they, for women, what they expect women to wear and what they expect to see and what they think about it. And there are some judges who have very, very high expectations of attire in their courtroom. I'm just not one of them. So I've never made there was this one woman, it was a criminal case, and she was wearing a sports bra and leggings. And
Not the attorney.
Just a sports bra?
she's just a sports bra. No, she was not an attorney. She was actually a witness, I think. And she had her money stuck in her,
Oh, wow.
in her sports bra. And I had to just say, I'm sorry, ma'am, I need you to take the money, because it was kind of hanging out. And I was like, it's very distracting for the court. And she's like, I don't have any pockets. And I'm like, obviously,
Right.
but just hold it in your hand until you're done talking to me. And then we can go on with our day.
You know, there's so many things I could say about this, and I can't think of one of them that would be appropriate. So I should
You
just.
should probably just keep your mouth shut. Yeah, solid chance.
It finally happened.
We've had a breakthrough.
It finally happened. Yeah.
He has a filter.
Good thing
This is
we have a
wild.
recording of this too.
This
Good
is
news.
wild.
It's amazing.
We can prove that it happened.
Just amazing.
I also get called a lot of things. I get called Lady Judge. I get called Miss Childs. I get called Miss Judge Childs. I get called Miss Kimberly, because there's that name right there. And I've been called my lord.
Have you ever been called your highness?
I was about to ask
Not
that.
called your highness, just my lord.
Because I witnessed that on Zoom court in Fulton, and you see every single attorney, their heads just all go down at the same time laughing.
I have on more than one occasion called Judge Manning in court, Your Eminency.
Oh, there you go.
I like my lord. I'm going to assume that was a pro se party.
It was
Fantastic.
And, at first I thought
Could be worse.
they were like, oh my lord, you know, that kind of thing. And then I thought they were maybe kind of being prayerful about it. And then I realized, no, it was meant respectfully, and
We must remember that for people who walk in who are not lawyers, they are very nervous.
they are very, very nervous. And as long as I'm not getting the vibe that they're trying to give me the middle finger, they don't really have a problem with it. I dealt, especially on the criminal side, I dealt with folks in jail, and I know that they really, really want to get to court, and that they really want to get in front of a judge, and that they're really nervous.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Then.
If I were to come into court and make a Taylor Swift reference, like here, for example, I'm in there for an uncontested final hearing, and I say, is your marriage irretrievably broken? As in, we are never,
Ever getting back together.
How would that go?
I would probably do the same thing I just did right now. And I would be delighted. And Anna, my assistant, would be absolutely thrilled, because she would be listening. And she's a millennial and an absolute Swiftie.
Then I have to ask this: what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
First
All
one?
the Pitch Perfect.
Okay. All right.
I like 1 and 2 better than 3.
We just saw the third one when we were in Ireland because it was the only thing that was on TV in English.
Yeah,
Which was weird
because
because they were Pitch Perfect.
It's not true. It was just
Okay,
the
well,
only
I just-
thing. It was the only
I just
thing
told
that
you it
wasn't
was the only
news.
thing that was on.
You didn't
I'm
teach
not
you.
particularly academic with my movie
Wait,
choices.
what's your favorite Taylor Swift song? If you had to pick a favorite.
So Tortured Poets Department really speaks to middle-aged women. I think
Because
maybe
Taylor's
who's
a
afraid
middle-aged
of
woman at this point.
little old me. So I like that one.
You know, I was trying to figure out how to work that into this, but I really couldn't.
Good for you. What did you do? What do you do for fun when you're not on the bench?
So I'm a Falcons fan, and I'm a rabid
It's a tough go
Falcons fan,
sometimes.
and I like all sports. I was telling Alexa I'm going to watch the football game this afternoon.
Go Dogs.
And I like to watch sports. I like to read, but like bubblegum books, like New York Times bestsellers, maybe. I don't read biographies or anything too heavy, but that's what I kind of like to do.
Yeah, I like my fantasy.
Do you like to exercise, walk? Anything like
No, I do. I have 2 great dogs, and they are getting a little older, so not needing as much. But
I was going to
What kind?
if you would accept our firm's athletic type long sleeve T-shirts
yes,
for walking.
yes.
All that we have one in
The Coyote Brown.
Oh yeah.
and one in Bergen.
Well, thank you very much.
And you said you have one of our Yeti mugs.
I do.
Do you have? You don't have the
The
great-
purple.
I do not have the purple.
Sorry, I was too far away from the mic. So we're gonna present that.
It's going to
you
present
Oh,
him the
wow,
great.
presented. Okay, great. Thank you.
now. My lord, yes, my lord.
Make sure to address the court properly.
I really have called Judge Manning Your Eminency in court. I have done that, but
I'm just waiting for you to get your highness. I think
You think?
that one's coming. Yeah.
it might be me.
I mean, I
Solid chance.
Make that happen.
Solid chance.
You know, it's never a boring job. I will say that, and I enjoy it. And it's really cool to be able to do that. Your logo says helping people, and I think that's what I like the most about being a judge. Is I do think it matters, and I do think that we help people.
Well, it's not a joke because, when I bring clients in, I've probably said it before on other episodes, I'm like, look, you're about to go in front of a superior court judge. That is the most powerful person in the county, and you need to recognize that. This person can take away your kids. This person can put you to death. It is the most powerful position, so you're not going to walk in not dressed properly. You're not going to walk in unprepared because I'm not going to let you do that. It's important. Yeah.
Well, Judge, we thank you very, very much for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
This is really, really cool. And I can't believe I'm actually on a podcast. That's so
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
I learned from my wife, who's sitting out so you could be here. She's in the back, but she told me that Judge Padgett from Augusta, who I like immensely, and who is the other judge? Kel. They do a podcast called Good Judgment, which I'm going to have to start listening to.
We need to start listening to that. I didn't know that.
So this is your first.
My first.
Well, maybe that one will be your second.
Hopefully it was a good experience.
It was a great experience.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Welcome. So,
The Taylor Swift references.
Jimmy, you killed it. Good job.
I love the Taylor Swift.
Jimmy, it was all you, but I am going to say it's about taco time on this Saturday, September the 12th. Is it the 12th?
Today's the 13th.
The 13th. So
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. So we're going to...
Included that.
Unbelievable. Jimmy. Anyway,
You play to your audience, right?
we played the...
Yeah, you go.
We are going to end this episode. It's been a great addition to our Judge series. And we're going to say, peace out. Have a nice day, everybody. Lawyers Without Billboards. Adios.